Welcome, dear traders. You're watching a recap of the Asian trade on April 11. Today, master stock exchanges in the region have been trading with a rise. Stocks of Japanese companies have been gaining in value for the third session in a row. However, some shares of New Zealand's firms opened with a decline after the Easter holiday. Meanwhile, in Australia, the situation is a bit different. Their stocks reached a 4-week high. Judging by the moderate reaction of the Wall Street to the non-farm payrolls, the data failed to stir deep emotions among investors. In our video review, we will find out whether it's true and how the currency market reacts to such news. In fact, reports issued by the US Labor Department have offset each other. On the one hand, the labor market remains in tension, and this may force the Fed to raise the benchmark rate, thus boosting the US dollar. And on the other hand, the non-farm payrolls point to the fact that the world's largest economy has not slipped into recession yet. In other words, risk sentiment still prevails in the stock market. What's more, some investors are already pricing in a future rise in the key rate. According to the FedWatch Tool, today more than 70% of respondents suppose that the regulator will raise the key interest rate by 25 basis points. Since the Fed sees lower inflation as its main goal, let us focus on the US Consumer Price Index data. Thus, the CPI figures will be disclosed tomorrow. Until then, trading on both stock and currency markets will be calm. Earlier today, the greenback was trading moderately. After reaching a peak near 102.80, the currency lost some gains on Tuesday. During the Asian trade, the US dollar consolidated in a narrow range of 102.20 and 102.50. At the present, the overall situation is quite calm. In this light, the US dollar index, which measures the greenback against a basket of 6 major currencies, was hovering at 102.4 points. Caution and optimism of traders may affect the bullish trend. However, it's likely to be supported by the CPI data. The next resistance level for the greenback is located at the high of 103.50 recorded on April 3. At the moment, positive sentiment in the market is exerting pressure on the American currency. If it continues falling, it may slide to the monthly low of 101.4 from April 5, or even to February's low of 100.8 points. On Tuesday, the Japanese yen managed to rise to 133.10 amid the lower yield of the US bonds. Thus, it recouped about 1% of its yesterday's losses against the US dollar. During the Asian trade, the yen-dollar pair dropped from the resistance level of 134 to the red area of 133 and 133.70. The yen climbed even despite the statements of a new Bank of Japan governor yesterday. During his acceptance speech, KAZUO made it clear that he would stick to the current monetary policy stance. The Japanese currency could have also risen following Warren Buffett's comments. One of the world's largest and most successful investors said yesterday that he was considering additional investments in Japanese stocks. Naturally, his statements boosted the yen. Commodity currencies spread their wings thanks to the news from China. Australia suspended its case in the WTO against its main trading partner over barley sales. It fueled a rise in the Australian dollar. At the same time, the Aussie ignored economic data from China. Inflation in the country declined, which is bearish for the Aussie as a liquid proxy of the yuan. However, the deal with China on the export of barley is fueling a rally of the Aussie. In the Asian session, the AUD-USD pair rose significantly. It was flirting with a psychologically important level of 0.6670, while the US dollar is consolidating at the same levels. Ahead of the crucial economic reports and speeches of Fed policymakers, the Aussie has already reached the range of 0.6634 and 0.6682. The New Zealand dollar was also trading with a slight increase. It was rather volatile, moving in the range of 0.6209 and 0.6236. The kiwi fell sharply and then recovered. Although the bearish pressure on the kiwi was eased today, it may decline from 0.6225. Moreover, the kiwi is unlikely to consolidate above 0.6260 as it's much weaker than the greenback. And that's all for now. Subscribe to our channel and stay up to date with the latest market news. See you soon.